Hey,
Hey,
how are you doing?
oh, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I feel like today I was trying to do like a day where I don't eat any sugar, but now I'm like really tired and uh, yeah, like I just realized I snack on so much sugar so often that I feel like I like emotionally drained whenever I if I intentionally like skip all the little things that I eat.
Mm, I know what you mean. I uh, I did keto once years
Mm.
ago, and to do keto, you have to like have no sugar for a few days, and then as soon as you have absolutely no sugar for a few days, your body goes through this like change where it just uses fat instead, not like just fat in your body, but like any fat you eat, and it is a terrible change. Like you get you get this thing called the keto flu, and I still remember it to this day. I was at my old apartment, and my
But you
parents
knew
were
in
visiting.
advance you were gonna get this, whatever it was.
Yeah, yeah, I knew it was like
You
going to
accepted it.
happen eventually. I just didn't know when, right? And I was just like, and it was really, really hard, like at first, to just like not have any carbs at all. But I remember when it was happening, I was like delirious, insanely tired, had a terrible headache. I could do nothing, absolutely nothing. And then when it passed, everything was back to normal. But it was so interesting.
Weird. Yeah, it's like the some kind of like withdrawal symptoms.
Well, I think in the case of like refined sugar, it might be different, but in the case of keto, it's effectively that your body has to like switch its food source,
Well,
and it happens so suddenly that it effectively just like switches on the dime. I've since learned that that like keto is really not good for you.
yeah, any sort
Um,
of hard line thing. Even I guess people's critique about dieting in general is that unless it's like a lifelong, unless you're changing the quantities of food you eat lifelong, you're just gonna gain stuff back.
well, the reason I did it was not to lose weight. It was like a fad that it would effectively like increase focus and a
Mm.
bunch of other things, like increase focus, help sleep. It was supposed to keep you more alert. Um, and I wanted to give it a try, mostly to see what would happen. And it was fine. It didn't really change anything for me. I didn't really notice it as much, but to actually know if you're in the diet properly, you have to like pee on this strip that you get. It's like
Right.
called the keto strip, and it like confirms really clearly if you're in keto or not.
That's nice to have something
Um,
like that that really clearly confirms.
yeah, yeah, and it's so I still remember it because it's like such a clear test to be like, oh wow, that is really purple all of a sudden, like when it's like high ketones. But yeah, it's really sensitive though. Like
Mm.
can effectively like if you just have a bit of sugar, it'll take you out of keto, and then you out of nowhere
Right.
have to like reset again. It just
Yeah. How long does it take to get into ketosis?
I was just talking about the one time I did keto like years ago. Um, I don't remember. It took like I think it took like 3 or 4 days when I did it.
Mm.
So my girlfriend's doing it, but she only does it during the weekdays. And I'm starting to wonder if there's any point of the
Oh yeah,
cheating
that's
on the
funny.
weekends.
Oh, really? Oh, did she use keto strips to like know if she's in keto or not?
Nope. No, she's not really just. She's just cutting out all the sugar, all the. She has like a list of foods she knows she shouldn't have, and then if she's not sure, she'll check before she eats it
Oh, I
or
see.
consumes it.
But Samuel was saying that
So
like being in like it's maybe not even healthy anyway, so maybe you don't want to be maybe just cutting out sugar is the healthy part and being in keto is perhaps not even a benefit.
kind of
A
depends.
lot,
Yeah.
a lot of people claim that like they, allergies go away, inflammation goes down, diseases that they have go away when they're because they do like the carnivore diet. And I imagine a big part of that is the fact that they're in ketosis because they're not having, you know, lots of carbs or anything like that. So I do wonder if there's truth to their testimony.
Like the reason I did it years ago was mostly for like focus. Like, it was supposed to help with focus. It was supposed to help with sleep, keep you more alert, things like that. And there were a bunch of other health benefits. But later on, I learned like it's not good for your kidneys or your liver. Like one of the two, like it puts a lot of stress on it because it has to like work overtime a bit more. But I wonder if just like less carbs in general is probably just better. So maybe it outweighs all the other impacts. I don't know.
I think, yeah, the killer for us is the sugar. We're not
Yeah.
supposed to have it in those quantities, right? Like I think of evolution, and like we would have ripe fruit, and we would probably crush that before the fucking chimps got to it. So yeah, we gorge ourselves for sure, especially when it comes to you know rare food like that because it's seasonal, and then maybe we come across like a random beehive, and pay the price, get stung a bit, and have some honey. But it's not, always readily available, and yet this day and age, that's the shit that sells. So sugar is like put into everything. And I've said this, I think, to Richard over and over again. The more I read like the food labels, I'm seeing sugar being close to like the first ingredient, if not the first ingredient. And I remember back when I was a kid, like I looked at the box for cereal. I think it was like Raisin Bran that comes to mind, and like it was bran, it was raisins with a tiny bit of sugar. But now, sugar is probably the first ingredient.
Because it's so addictive. You just add a bunch of sugar to something. Maybe you taste it a bit more, maybe you don't, but your brain's gonna know it's there. Like you're gonna pick up on it.
Exactly, and that's what's killing us at the end of the day,
Yeah,
making us fat too.
yeah, I do think sugar is like one of these things, especially I like not sugar because when you say sugar, it's like okay, what are you really talking about? Are you talking about like a nice apple that is really sweet, right? Or are you talking about like a good orange or something? Or are you talking about honey? I mean, it's like the refined sugars that are the problem. It's like you take crystallized sugar or corn syrup, like that's the stuff that's terrible for you in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and like I used to see high fructose. My pronunciation of shit is pretty trashy sometimes, but just go with it. High fructose corn syrup in a lot of stuff, especially candies. And now I'm seeing dextrose, which is, well, from corn. So I'm like, what's the difference? They're both from corn, aren't they? But somebody corrected me. I'm like, oh yeah, there's a bunch of candy around this. Like we had sort of like a potluck, but a lot of people brought candy and chips, and like, oh yeah, I get that high fructose corn syrup into. He's like, well, actually, he fucking
Someone.
he educated me there. Yeah, I was like, oh
Hold
yeah.
on. But like dextrose is just glucose, which is just sugar, right? I
I
just looked
looked
this
it
up
up.
now. I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah, I thought it was like it comes from corn, the dextrose.
It must. Maybe that's the like specific name. Like it's like sugar from corn. I don't know. I just looked it
But
up. I just was curious.
because I've never seen it before, like a couple years ago, and now I see it everywhere.
Yep, it's a type of sugar that is chemically identical to glucose and comes from corn. Well, there you go.
And that's what we have to watch out for. Yeah, they gotta put that corn to use. I mean, fuck, we farm enough of it.
Is there any corn? Like, there's just it just like gets extracted from corn because it's easy to extract it. I guess there's no. like the corn doesn't play a role after just the sugar's like extracted.
I'm not
Could
sure.
you
I
can you
just
like
think
I
that
wonder? I assume you could extract it from other things too, and it's just like less efficient, maybe.
It's just that corn is so grows everywhere. Like it's so easy to grow corn. So it's just so plentiful.
we gotta put it to use.
You know, it goes bad.
And what
Yeah.
about?
So I.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll ask something else.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you can go first if your things like.
Oh, there's
I
just
guess
a little
either
story
way, yeah.
about how I used to be like super jacked, ripped, used to bodybuild, all that other stuff when I was younger. Wintertime, just hit the gym all the time. Summertime would come around. I'm pretty sure I've told this story before. But then I really fancied the ice caps, and that's back when I could have dairy. And I would have an ice cap probably a day, every other day. And then I would get fucking fat and not realize like it was like I didn't understand it. I got confused, and I'd still work out the same. And then eventually I kind of like figured I'm like, oh, it's the sugar that's doing it. But like you think I would know better because this summer I got to be my fittest, skinniest that I've been since joining the military. Because the military and all the stress and all that shit really packed on the pounds from. But I got to be like, I was like 190 ish, and I was trying to get down to 180, which is supposed to be my ideal weight. But then I started to go to cafes, and then I started to link going to cafes and getting lattes with the vegan baked goods. So I would go to cafes like every day, every other day. And you think I would learn my lesson, but nope. 30 pounds later, fucking trying to shed it off in time for the summer. But I've cut out because Naomi's cutting out. I don't know if we should name names, but she's doing the keto thing, so I'm like supporting her, but I'm also like being more mindful of my food choices. And I broke that habit, so when I go to a cafe, I'll get a latte, and that's it. Like I know that oat milk has sugar, and I try to pair it with like a collagen powder, but I'm not buying the baked goods.
Not the
So
baked goods.
but I had to break that habit because I made that habit, and then the problem is it's addicting, and so I'm like, oh, I want to go back to the fucking cafe. I want to go every day, like, but it was most days, not every single day, but that's the thing
I don't
is,
play it down. We know it was every day.
I think my main thing right now is I drink like a chai latte and maybe
Hold
like
me out on it.
a London fog like every day, and then also at this point maybe one or two boba teas a week. But I think that's I've been doing that for like a couple of years, and that's now I just have I think like a high metabolism and stuff. But now finally, I think I'm like at an age where it's like catching up. So now I'm finally like I think I'm concerned enough now that I'll be able to like have more willpower to cut that stuff out. Uh, I just maybe have like extra 10 pounds, kind of like for the first time. Like I've always been like 150 pounds, and then nothing I've done has like budged that number. But then I notice missing a few workouts, getting a few too many like candy. I'll just like put on 10 pounds, and then it doesn't go away. So then now I think when people say like between diet and exercise, they say limiting the calories is like the main. Yeah, it's like that's what you can do is just cut the calories, and it doesn't matter like how hard you work out necessarily. It's really about getting the calorie count down.
I was like just building muscle. Yeah, go for it, man.
I was literally about to say that. Go ahead.
Every
Yeah.
pound of muscle requires 50 calories to maintain, and so that's my goals. Like I want to get back into bodybuilding, and yeah, I'm not going to be like Jay Cutler or fucking Arnold's. I'm too late in the game, but the idea is, I put on some muscle. It keeps the bones in place, prevents me from getting re-injured because I'm pretty fragile these days, and I want to do shit. I want to go skiing and I want to go backpacking, and so by doing that though, like it's practical, but also at the same time, I could still eat like a fucking pig and not have to worry about getting the pot belly that goes with it, right?
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It's like the
10
more
pound.
muscle you have is like that's muscle and eating and like reasonable cardio, and you'll stay pretty constant.
I'm finding the Stairmaster because I like inclines. You can either like do treadmill, max incline with a good pace, or like, but the Stairmaster, man, that never gets easy. Never.
Hmm.
And I've increased the time now to 30 minutes, but I'm still gassed. Like, I guess maybe it is getting a bit easier if I can increase time, but the speed, fuck no. It's like I see people like going full tilt on that thing, and I'm like, how? How is that possible? Well, mind you,
You
they're
skip a
holding on for
stair.
dear life.
Oh yeah,
You
holding
could do
on. I
that.
feel like holding on is cheating, and skipping a
It,
stair is
it
probably like
is.
dangerous.
Yeah, actually, they're holding on for dear life. That's how they're doing it. They're fucking, their legs are just going.
That's how they walk
Yeah.
up regular stairs. Is constant contact with the railing and just flailing the legs. That's how I walk downstairs. If I want to go down a stairwell fast, I'll just make like constant contact with different railings and basically just fall and just keep like rotating like as I touch the stairs.
I'd have to see that. Take a video next time, will you?
I forget where I used to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, like you can skip like an entire half like a entire set of stairs if it's like
Oh
five
shit!
five or six stairs.
I know what you're talking about. I fucking do that too.
Yeah,
Well,
you
it's actually
just
been a while since I've done
yeah,
it.
like one hand
Yeah,
on a
yeah.
railing and you just skip the whole set of stairs and then the next set and just like one foot on each landing basically.
Oh, I do like one hand each railing, like on either side, and then I,
Mm.
have all of my weight off my feet, and then I just go from top to fucking bottom, like I just fly down the stairs. It's been a long time, that's why I didn't like think about it
Yeah,
right
I
away.
haven't done it. I wouldn't do it. I don't think I wouldn't do it anymore.
You're getting too old, yeah.
What about fasting or like micro fasting? Sometimes I feel like I heard randomly someone said, that increases focus, like they said that as well, and then they said it maybe gives you more energy. And sometimes it's like if I just the feeling of being hungry sometimes makes me feel more alert, and then it's also
Hmm.
exciting. Like if I'm hungry, it's exciting to think about what's the next thing I can eat. But if I go a couple of days and I'm always snacking and I never feel hungry, then I start to just feel almost like depressed because without the rhythm of like feeling hungry and then the enjoyment of eating, if that's like taken away by just constant snacking and never feeling that hunger, then I don't feel anything.
I feel like part of that is that you like your body gets used to all the carbs and everything that you like front load, and then you just stop it, and then it like you effectively crash. I feel like for intermittent fasting, which I actually did after I came off of keto like years ago. I was experimenting with a bunch of like random things. I tried to do like weird sleep patterns where you like nap in the middle of the day too, to see if I could like get more productivity out and stuff. But
That's legit. That works.
yeah. The napping actually was nice, but intermittent fasting, I think what like the way I made it kind of work was to make sure that I like ate very healthy, and then just be like, okay, I'm hungry, whatever, and then just kind of get used to it, and then your body kind of figures out how to deal with it. But I don't know. I'm highly food motivated, so it didn't stick.
But that's the fun part
So
though, is it's so much more fun to eat when you're hungry and there's like a reward built in there.
yeah, hunger's the best spice apparently. But it's like I watch Our Planet or Perfect Planet when I'm at the banya or the spa and drinking tea, and I'm like, yeah, every single animal out there or whatever is motivated by food and the occasional reproduction. But it's like everything, all their activities is geared around getting food. I'm watching like this chipmunk, and he's going around and he's gathering his nuts, and then other chipmunks are stealing his nuts, and then there's a squirrel that's stealing that chipmunk's nuts. But it's all about food.
It's
And
an
it's
exact analogy for capitalism, just with squirrels.
yeah, right.
We found it. We made it to capitalism. We did it.
Yeah, yeah. So I was at the cafe yesterday night, yeah, and I've been pretty afraid to open up my portfolio, uh, because I've seen it start to go down and go down and go down, and I hear like things are getting worse. But I was like, okay, I got some e-transfers to do to friends, and I need to look at my taxes, and it's all almost simple. And I opened it up, and I had a number in my head, and it wasn't that low, so I didn't have a heart attack. Thank fuck. But it was like rock bottom. It's basically an entire year's worth of growth. Like, so everything I've got in the last year to date or whatever. Let me see. No, year to date, it's actually pretty terrifying. But basically, since I put money into the stock market years ago, I'm up 30K. That's it. So I've lost a lot. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm in it for the long run. I don't need it. And then I went back to doing my thing. And I'm on my way out the door, and I'm talking to old man Ed, and he likes to pick my brain about money stuff. And because he wants to make sure his daughter's set up financially, and he's like showed me her portfolio. I'm like, well, that's very private, but thank you. And he's asking about crypto and stuff and what I think. And I'm like, honestly, at this point, man, I everything I thought I knew, I don't know anymore. And I have to like get recalibrated because I said to him, all financial knowledge is a liability. And like, for instance, they would used to say that the best investment, the best asset you could have is your home. But that comes from the day when interest rates are like pay off your home first. But back when interest rates were like 16, 17, 18%, which you're just good luck getting that average return in the market. And that makes sense, but that comes from there. And so maybe this day and age, with interest rates being very low, maybe putting all of your capital into your home and just having it sit not working isn't the best thing. So it can be considered a liability, right? But now I'm like, fuck the market. Like, there's so much uncertainty. Like, I'm starting to wonder if maybe owning your home is the best thing, and then locking it and pulling out the equity when things are stable. I don't know. But I said to Ed, I'm gonna get to the point soon. I said to Ed, hey man, you know what? What I thought I knew, I don't know anymore. Like, these are my thoughts about crypto, and I have this chart from read, and it shows that over 2 centuries, like a dollar has increased to about 50 million, which far outperforms everything else. It's actually a really good chart. I showed it to him, and then he's like, "Oh, by the way, did you hear?" I'm like, "What?" He's like, "The fucking charts just like spiked upward." He's like, "Something happened," and I'm like, "Yeah, probably Trump. Probably Trump did something." And I was like, "Well, that's good. I'm gonna leave the cafe on a positive note. Portfolio's up." And I looked at what happens, and yeah, Trump put a pause on the tariffs. I mean, he's still kind of laying it to China, but it's the fact, like, I think they said that this was the biggest jump in one day in the market in a very, very long time. Like, I don't know if they said like 20 years or what.
It was
But I'm
actually
like,
the third highest day in like the top 5 highest grossing days. It's insane.
is that what it is?
Yeah,
At
it's
least.
like the third.
Okay. So the fact that one motherfucker has that much influence over the stock market, who is completely and fully volatile, like, how do you trust that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just at the point where, okay, playing in the long game, he's not going to be in the office forever. Eventually, I hope that the Americans choose someone who's not a lunatic. Sorry if you're a Trump supporter, not sorry. But it's like I'm trying to like figure out what to do. And really what I've been focusing on is actually consolidating everything. And I did a balance sheet, And now what I want to do is I just want to get rid of I want to get rid of my expenses, my liabilities. I mean, I have a passive income, but when I look at my balance sheet, there's it's like all my money's going out the door, and it's like my assets are owning me because everything I'm making is going to maintaining these assets that are apparently supposed to grow over time, but they don't. They don't always grow over time. My condo that I got, I just lost 30K on it. And I got it 3 years ago. Now they say, oh, it's the peak. It was the peak during COVID. But normally there's supposed to be small appreciation in a home. It's not supposed to go backwards. I would have been happy to break even,
Mhm.
but I'm losing 30K? Like what is this shit? I
And it's
poured
tough that it's tough too with a house is not like a easily you can't just put off selling it. Like these big physical things sometimes are easier to like get into a spot where you kind of have to sell at the short term or in the wrong time. That's why I like stock where it always just feels like you can just if it ever is down for a really long time, you just never sell, and it's not like you have to maintain it or see to it or visit it. Uh, it's just it's like very easy to sell or not sell.
Yeah, for sure. And that's the thing is like a home is a longer term investment as well, at least 10 years to recoup your initial costs. But I'm like, my condos are just, I think they're shit because the boards get in the way of you doing short-term rentals, and that's how you can write off expenses, which reduces your income, which, is good. If you can't write off like expenses for your asset, it's not a good asset in my mind. So like if you own your home and there's no one telling you what to do with it and you can turn it into a short-term rental, then you're golden. You set it up on Airbnb, which I fucking hate Airbnb, and they say they got insurance for hosts. They absolutely do not. It's a lie. And I just tried to make a claims. My last guest did $2,000 worth of damage. Anyway, carrying on. Uh, it there's other platforms you can use, but you say you want to go on a vacation for a month or two. You set your rate high enough, someone coming into your home and living there could pay for your vacation. Hell, you could set your rate high enough that like you may not even be planning for a vacation, but if someone's willing to come in for a month and pay $350 a day, well, you're just gonna go because you're making bank, man. But like, where am I going with this? I'm kind of just going on these tangents here. But yeah, I'm realizing that like the condo I have in Ottawa, the management is terrible, absolutely fucking terrible. Their finance guy lied to us, said that a special assessment's not going to affect the like your ability to sell the property. I'm like, yeah, it is, you idiot. And it's just like try to get work done. I've been waiting for him to like do basic maintenance to the front of the stairs for about a year and a half. He's like, "Oh, it'll be done in the spring." I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "Hey, it's summer." He's like, "Oh, it'll be done in the fall." Okay. It's fall. Okay, it'll be done next spring. It's like, fuck this guy. He's
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
my
by the
feeling
way,
is no matter how much money, like for me, it's like I would never want to deal with that kind of stuff, even if I was getting money from the property. It sounds so frustrating.
it is." And that's, what happens when you own a condo. I think like owning your home, like a detached or something that's not linked to like a board is the way to go. So what I'm trying to get is I'm consolidating. I'm just getting rid of all these shitty investments or assets and simplifying my life, reducing the amount of inputs. Because I mean, I think a person who's only able to handle so much, then they get stressed. And if they're chronically stressed, inflammation goes up and then they get fucking diseases. And I mean, I'm at that point where I have adrenal gland burnout and my fucking immune system is attacking my hair follicles. And I got a patch of my beard missing now. I just noticed today, right underneath the chin. And I'm like, shit, man, this is what happens when you take on too much for too long because we haven't evolved for all these inputs. The civilization has become toxic. to us because it's so complicated. And don't even get me fucking started with dealing with the government and its bureaucracy. Okay, rant is over. Because you get me started on that shit, man. Oh, man.
There's a lot of things I want to touch on. I'm like from discussions. I mean, Richard probably knows, but I'm like a big finance nerd in terms of like understanding, like what is the best investment? Why is it the best investment? What time horizon makes sense? But it's like it's interesting that you're saying that you're kind of thinking of like just be like, okay, I want to get rid of all the different things I have and just like sell them because like they're not bringing in as much as for the work that I'm putting in. And like you're not the only person that's saying that actually. Like I've heard a lot of people, I think especially in Canada, that like especially after the hangover of like COVID where there was money everywhere and housing prices were insane. Like a lot of people are running into the same thing of, hey, I bought all these things, it was great, and now like you're tied to the thing and you're stressed about it, and it's not really bringing you in as much as you thought it would, and it's like happening all over Canada. Like it's not just you, Justin.
Oh, well, I feel a lot better now.
Yeah.
Okay,
You're actually the third person that has told me this. At work, I've had one person say like, "Yeah, I have a condo in Toronto. I used to live there during COVID, and I left, and now my tenant's leaving, so I'm trying to find a new tenant, but I kind of want to sell it, but it's not a great time to sell it." Also complaining about all the similar things that you mentioned, like, oh, there's like all these rules, and it makes it hard to rent it out.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
another person is trying to sell their property too. So it's like it's a thing happening everywhere.
Yeah, but they're gonna make a bunch of condos in Toronto, I hear. I've heard that through Naomi's community. She knows people who, know the area, who are realtors. Like there's quite the community. Lots of people. And
Yeah.
and apparently, yeah, there's supply is gonna go up, which is gonna drop demand. And if you own a condo in Toronto, I feel for you because like if I'm taking a 30K hit, I don't even want to know what they're gonna take, the hit that they're gonna
Condos
take.
are crashing. They're crashing in Toronto, absolutely cratering. Like I think they're down like 5 or 6%, something like that. Like nobody wants condos in Toronto for some reason. Single detached homes though, like those are holding steady, but still actually slightly down. The reason I know all this is I'm looking to buy a house, so I've been doing all the research, and it's I don't know,
In
it's
Toronto,
interesting.
you think?
No, not in Toronto. I
Oh.
think here in Ottawa.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I think
I'm trying
eventually
to.
I will be in like many years from now. I'll be looking to buy something in Toronto.
And
Hey,
this is the thing that I go for it.
sorry, I was just telling Richard. You might as well get in now. Go
Yeah,
ahead, Justin.
Yeah,
that's exactly what I
but
was
I
gonna
don't
say.
know
The
if I
same thing.
can. Can I get a loan from the bank when I'm not a resident? Like
You're a citizen,
a
aren't you?
non.
Don't you have a sin?
Yeah, I was looking up like because I was thinking, should I talk to a Canadian bank just see what kind of mortgage they would give me? And I saw something that's like if you're not like I'm a citizen, but I'm not a tax resident or
Resident.
whatever. Yeah, resident.
Yeah.
Then you can't just like buy a house and then because I would just like try to buy something cheap and just leave it empty until I get there at some point. But it seemed like it's hard to orchestrate that when you're not living in the country.
Yeah, man.
So
That I don't know.
you can get a foreign mortgage loan in the U.S. I believe I've
Hmm.
looked at this before because when I was looking at moving at SF, like I looked at should I just like buy a place like when I go there, because that kind of made the most sense at the time when I was considering it because I wanted to be near the office and rent was insane. Um, but you can get a foreign mortgage in the other country and then pay it down, but it's a way higher interest rate. So it might not be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I try to avoid like all bureaucratic complexity. I never want to like deal with the work. I just want to do like the safest. And like renting is always allows me to have the most like flexibility, even though it makes less sense if I'm in the same place for a long time and I'm gonna buy it anyway or something.
I mean, there's calculators for this too. Like, there's calculators that will tell you based on like the average home price you're looking at, what the interest rate is, how long you're going to stay in an area. And then if you compare that to what the rent is, like the calculator will like spit out, how much you actually save or lose for renting versus buying. But there's other things that it doesn't, that most
Right.
calculators won't show. Like, there's also opportunity cost of like the money that you put into, like, throw into the rent that you don't get back versus the
Mm-hmm.
opportunity cost of the money that stays in the house that slowly appreciates over a long enough period of time. Um,
Unless you're me. You fucking lose it. Yeah.
I mean, on a long enough time horizon, like a very long time horizon, like 10, 20 years, like home prices, I think it's something like 3%, like on average, like consistently.
Yeah.
So it's
If it's a
like,
long enough horizon, yeah.
exactly. So if it's like 3% per year, like don't think about when it's compounded, Richard. But if it's like 3% per year on average, then like you can actually get a lot of leverage from buying a place. And if you calculate, like I literally did this calculation yesterday. I was like, okay, if I'm gonna, if I put some 20% down payment on a house, like let's say it's 100K, right? It's 100K down payment. Like what is that 100K going to be in the market versus what it would be in the house? And then just do the difference. If it's like 5% per year on 100K versus 3% per year on the like full value of the house. If it's a 20% down payment, then it's like 100K divided by 0.2, it should be a 500K, which is like a higher growth rate than the 5% of the 100K in the market. So it's like those kinds of calculations can kind of like come out well, but you're also assuming everything goes perfectly well on the time horizon you care about.
Yeah, and if you're sort of living in the house until you're moving into an old age home, then you don't necessarily get to use that whatever the house makes when you sell the house. You're not like a spry traveling age necessarily, and so it's really
Well,
like
this
the
is
The
money
home
comes
equity
out. Yeah.
loan, like Justin said.
y- yeah, if you needed to tap into it. But here's the other thing too is um let's say if you did get a longer amortization period and you had because then what you're paying is going to be more interest, but your payments will be lower. And why I'm saying this is because let's say if you do use it as a short-term rental and you are able to write off expenses, and you say you do it for half the year, and I'm doing like bunny ears, where it's listed for half the year, but maybe you just get someone in, you know, maybe a quarter of the time, I would still claim 50% of the interest that I paid to bring down my income, which kind of offsets things, actually puts you ahead. Hey, the only reason why I am not okay, there's a couple of things. So I say I'm losing 30K, and that's what I'm gonna make. Like negative 30K. Not I'm supposed to get gains every year. I'm not getting any of that, obviously. But a couple of things. One, I wasn't supposed to do a short-term rental, and I did it anyway. And I got away with it until eventually the city shut me down. And then I did a longer-term rental, and I made a good chunk of change off of that just until now, where it's like, okay, I gotta get rid of this place. And why I'm saying all that is because I made quite a bit of money doing this, and I wasn't even like spending my time in Ottawa. I was in Toronto with my partner, visiting family. I don't want to be in Ottawa. And so it was just going to sit empty otherwise. And so by doing this, come tax time, I can say, well, my insurance covers half the year for short-term rental. So hand on my heart, I had it listed the entire time. Just because I wasn't able to get someone in doesn't mean that I wasn't trying to run a business. So I'm going to say half my interest, which, by the way, guys, holy fuck. Mortgages, mortgages are the biggest scam I've ever fucking seen. Because I paid 7K principal and 20K in interest if I got a variable. And that was just this year or 2024, 2023, even worse, man. So like fucking 3 years, paid like 55K in interest. So anyway,
Hmm.
being able to write off a good chunk of that against my income, it's and that's one expense out of many. Like because you can do your utilities, your insurance, uh, expenses to maintain the home. So I had to repair my door, my fridge, my microwave, all that shit, my air conditioning. I could write that off because it's to maintain this business.
Hmm.
Well, it's not really a business, but So where am I getting with this? Is like if you were to get the home, make the amortization period longer, 25 years. I don't know if you could do 30. Your payments would be lower, your interest would be higher, but if you're planning to actually do short-term rental, you could write off that increased interest against any additional income you'll make. So your payments aren't as high, and you're also making additional money by doing a short-term rental. So that worked for me. And that's why like I could have been a lot worse off, but I was able to kind of adapt to the situation. But the thing is, I don't want to do any of that shit anymore because all of it's complicated.
Yeah.
Guests are fucking assholes. Like the last guest I had, they stole a bunch of shit. I told you that, didn't I, Richard?
I didn't know about the stealing stuff.
They fucking stole some of my tools. Yeah, man. They stole my favorite mug.
It's like when you go to
Not
a
the
hotel
mug.
and you take all the soap and shampoo from the hotel. it's like
They
that,
stole
but
my
they just
fucking
take they just take stuff.
my
Yeah.
favorite mug, man. They stole
Oh,
that,
that's
and I was
bad.
just like, really? And then like these wear and tear. But I mean, I have a hardwood floor, and I don't know if they dropped their fucking phone 100 times or what, but man, the damage that these guys caused. I didn't even like quote the floor because I already know the floor is 3K, but there's no way I'm gonna get that covered. But anyway, I'm saying all this stuff. I'm saying, okay, here's how you can kind of offset things and still make money. But then on the other hand, it's like, I really just, after experiencing all of this, kind of just want to simplify, man. So,
Yeah, it's I guess it's just like a part-time job. Like you make money at it, but it requires work and mental effort. And then, that's like anything. Like you could kind of just get like a part-time job in anything is what I sort of feel if one wanted to have excess money or like extra income.
mm, I'm grateful for the experiences, like with PTSD, actually complex PTSD. Fear really takes root and stops me from doing shit. But I've been doing exposure therapy and forcing myself through things. And like I was actually afraid to do an Airbnb, and I put it off for quite a while, and eventually I did it. And it's a lot of work. It really is to do it properly. I'm a super host now, and then the fuckers took it away, and then they just gave it back to me. So hey, there we go. I got perfect 5-star ratings across the board, and I give a shit, and I try to have a good property. And as a minimalist, I mean, that really does help too. If you're a minimalist and you don't have a lot of shit, it's very easy to organize and clean, right?
Mm.
But it was a good experience. It's not something that I would want to maintain ideally. Like I'm gonna do what I have to do because I got to take over my condo in BC, and you know I'm supposed to live there for a year, otherwise I can get sued because I'm kicking the tenants out because I'm moving back in. But this I say that, but if I have somebody stay while I'm gone, I'm still technically living there, so I could be okay. But that's because condos, like if I can even get away with this, actually, BC is really locking down hard on short-term rentals. I don't know if I'll be able to do it, but I need to kind of offset the maintenance fees. I want to sell BC because my maintenance fees are like 470 dollars a month for
Whoa,
nothing.
that's insane.
For fucking nothing. I have to still pay for water. No, actually, I don't pay for water.
You could
I
sell
don't pay for water.
sell bottled water then from your place.
Yeah, that's the only thing. There's no gym.
430 bottles. That makes your money back right there.
But there's no pool. There's no gym. And the problem with BC is, the fear of the big one, the big tsunami that's going to wipe out the island, kind of thing. All of the insurance companies are getting out, and then so, at least is what I'm told. And so the premium for the condo, that big fucking building, doubled, 100% increase. And so they just, all right, we have no choice but to pay it. We have to insure the building, and so all that cost keeps going on to the owners, and that's in my mind not sustainable long term, right? It's your income isn't increasing as that percentage to keep up with these increases, and I think actually houses insuring your home could also be an issue too, but yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry, man. The last thing I'm gonna say is about me talking about all this shit and like all the different things and like what I'm doing and like what I'm trying to manage is the whole. It's like, when's he gonna shut up? Well, what I'm getting at is all this stuff. I'm not even like describing all the inputs in my life. That's just a small piece to it. But you imagine having to deal with all this and deal with all the numbers and deal with all the people, and shit goes sideways often, and or catches on fire, and you gotta deal with that. Like, how do you live a peaceful life, a healthy life, if you're dealing with all that stuff? And so that's why I think just owning one property, your home, that you can upkeep, I think that's the way to go, man. I think if you can do that, that's ideal. It's optimal.
yeah, because I'm so glad I've never had to deal with things like that in my life, and I think I would not be able to deal with that kind of stuff. But definitely, it strikes me, if these things were in my life, it would prohibit, there's already little things in my life just that everyone deals with that interrupt my ability to just like go home in the evenings and sit down and be calm and focus and do like an artistic side project or something. But then I was going to mention for you,
for that.
yeah, like for,
Yeah.
I mean, for you, like, especially like you're good at playing piano, and we've talked before about you wanting to play more piano and get your music out there. But there's an interesting thing here where there's like a struggle where what I've noticed is, like, for myself, if I have complete free time and everything is calm and stable, I'll have no motivation to generate, express myself, because there's nothing really going on. But then when there's like the perfect balance of things are bothering me and I feel that I want to express myself, but also I have enough energy left over, like not too many things, then I have like the drive to sit down and like put my feelings into something, and then the product is like better. And then it's kind of exciting. Like it's, if you can take all, if like the more chaotic a life is, the more, if someone has the ability to condense all that down into a piece of art, then I feel like that gets very interesting. That's the kind of art, the best works of art I imagine are from that place.
Nice, man.
But then also as a side income, I wonder, like, in your future, I wonder if there's some way you can, or like, I wonder if it will happen that you'll grow your piano playing and music and whatever, maybe it's YouTube videos or records, or even like working, like you could compose things for games or some sort of thing like that. And then I wonder how much side income could you make, and how would you feel if there was some pathway in the future where you could make an income that way?
Yeah, you know what? I made up my mind. If I do composing, and I don't want any money. I don't want it to be a job. soon as I turn it into work, then I'm not going to want to do it anymore.
That's how I feel
It's
about
like the
game
same.
development for myself.
Yeah. Because like I played piano and I used to play for the entire day. Not exaggerating. I'd wake up and I'd play until the sun went down. And I did because it was fun and I loved it. And I just would, didn't matter. I'd make mistakes. It was just incredible. And obviously, okay, there's pee breaks and had to eat and stuff. But you know what I mean? Like I enjoyed playing it for hours on end. And you know, there's a fellow here, because we're just like we're staying in Toronto, and I'm staying with Naomi, and she's renting. But we're friends. We know the owner of the house, and her son. He plays literally all day. I don't think he has a day job. That they have a good chunk of money, I'm sure, in the family, so he can do that. But that's how I used to be. And then I would compare myself to other players, and I'd be like, "Oh, I need to get better. I need to get better." And then I played to become better, which is the wrong reason to play in my mind. Like by me playing because I enjoyed it and it was a fun hobby, I got really good. I got incredible, like the things that I can do through my mistakes, trial and error. Like it gives me like I have my own style. And yes, I have some inspiration from that Japanese composer who does the Final Fantasy franchise. But I have my own style. Like when I play, you know, it's me. People, when I would play at the officers' mess, people would know it's me playing without even seeing me because they know my style and how I play, and that comes from me playing and making mistakes and developing and just the way I like to play. But I tried to play to get good, and I lost all desire to play for a very long time. And my concern is if I play for money, it becomes a job. Well, I fucking hate working. So I don't want to grind. I don't want to grind out piano pieces. I can make three. I can sit down and play my keyboard and make three songs. No kidding. Like I can develop three songs and not even think about it because it just comes to me. Because you say that you need like, you know, a little bit of turbulence in your life to kind of motivate you to express yourself. Well, I got like 36 years of hardship and trauma to draw on, buddy. So it just flows through the fingers. I don't even need to try. And I would like to get to the point where I have enough peace in my life where it's like, you know, I want to play. I got a grand piano at home and I won't even touch it for months. I walk by it, I don't want to play, I don't want to play it. And it's not that I'm waiting for inspiration. It's just like I am so numb from all the stress, all the moving pieces that I lose the desire to do things. Depression also, like there's seasonal depression, which impacts everybody. Like there's no fucking way it doesn't. We all need sunlight and vitamin D, and I take vitamin D pills. And actually, if you take too much vitamin D, you got to offset that with other vitamins, otherwise it's not good for you. But like living in the northern hemisphere is fucking toxic for us in the wintertime because we don't get enough vitamin D, we don't get enough sun. Seasonal depression, man, that's bad. But then when you actually have depression from other things, that compounds things, and it makes it harder to do the things that you enjoy because you don't really feel enjoyment. You feel numb. And so it's like, and then when you're overstimulated because of everything going on, you know, you're not just depressed, you have anxiety as well. And the cure to all this shit is training your body and movement and going to the gym. And it's like the last thing that you want to do. So weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is so weird how your body like tends to shut down like when you like it's really interesting like when people shut down in that way, it's then like the opposite. Your body does the opposite of what it needs to do to get better. So
Right?
like,
Yeah.
yeah. For the composer that you liked, is that no Nobuo Uematsu?
Yeah, I just didn't want to butcher his name.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm gonna actually try to learn his pronunciation eventually because you know I owe him a lot of credit. I
Yeah,
grew up playing.
funny. He's one of the reasons why I actually got into piano playing. I don't play a lot, but he was like, I remember playing the Final Fantasy games when I was a kid, and I was like, oh, this music's awesome, and music from like Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
buddy.
and Final
Number
Fantasy
3
VIII. Yeah,
or 6. Well, number
There's
3 in the
years.
U.S., but 6 I think is like the actual number,
Yeah,
the true number. Like that's my favorite. That has Terra and Locke and Sabin and all those guys. I would love to see like a complete remake on that where they make it like how Final Fantasy VII is now. But yes, Final
it
Fantasy
will
VII.
eventually. It just
I
doesn't have
fuck
as big of a group, a big of a cult following as Seven, I think.
yeah. 7, I absolutely adore 7 as well. So I'm holding off to play the second version. This was it Rebirth?
Yeah.
I'm waiting. I'm holding off as long as I can
Well,
because
I've
like I'll get lost.
I've played both of them. Like I think I finished the first remake, and it took like I don't know. I think it took 3 years for me to finish it. Like I played it really slowly, and I'm playing the second one now, and I've been playing it like since it came out like a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago. I'm just doing it slowly. Like
Yeah,
once a week, I will sit down and actually play it. I've wanted to go to the Distant Worlds before, Richard.
yeah, I just remembered I had heard about that. It's in Vancouver, BC on July 11th, 2025. It's the music from Final Fantasy, and the guy you guys are talking about is listed in the composers.
Get
Wait,
out of
he's
here,
gonna
really?
be there, or is he?
I guess he's
No, he's
not.
probably
Yeah, I
not
guess they're
there.
just talking about who made the music. I don't know who exactly performs it, but if it's in Vancouver, it'd be like the Vancouver Orchestra, I assume.
Yeah, yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, they're gonna be in Toronto in like a year.
Yeah, January next
January
year.
26th.
But yeah, playing those games like with the way I was brought up or my lack of nurturing and you know being in foster care group homes and stuff after a certain point. There's something about RPGs and just being in someone else's reality, and then the fact that you could build your character up to become stronger, to kick the shit out of anything that opposes you. I mean, I love that. And then like I get a little ridiculous where it's like the the older retro Final Fantasy 7, like I had every character level 99 fucking maxed out. Like it's like, but that's how ridiculous I got because like I just love the fact that I could become overpowered and nothing could kill me. Especially when like you actually feel vulnerable inside. Like I found that was a good way to escape and get back some sort of control.
Yeah, I think video games are like that. I think especially for a lot of people when they were younger, it was a good way to kind of like assert their own independence in some way because you could kind of create that world and then kind of like see what life is like within it. Like,
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, there's still a special place in my heart for video games. I play obviously the new stuff. I've been enjoying the Soulsborne series because it's super hard, and I don't know something about it I just really enjoy. And then there's this game called No Man's Sky. That's basically you get to explore a galaxy or multiple galaxies, and it's just one of those games. If you're a completionist like I used to be, you can't be. It's impossible.
Yeah, mathematically can't be.
No, it takes several trillion years to actually discover every single planet, which obviously the universe hasn't been around that long. So, what, 14, 15 billion years? A trillion years? Like, come on. Like, so I'm humbled by that. Just, and when you look at the galaxy map, just like all the different systems that you could warp to, and you zoom out and you continue to zoom out and you continue to zoom out and you're just like holy fuck. I got sucked into a wormhole a black hole, and it's interesting because it's actually they make them wormholes, and I don't think that's how it would be because
Oh yeah, you'd
maybe I don't know.
probably get
I
shredded,
I don't.
but who knows?
Yeah, but like you the tech that you have is like it's futuristic. So you start off with futuristic tech. So the ship, when you get something called like a Sentinel ship, you don't get damaged by the black hole, but any other ship does get damaged. If I understand, I don't know. I never passed through a black hole without a Sentinel ship. But anyway, like it's yeah, I get to the other side and it's 1,100,000 and something thousand light years. I'm on the other side of the galaxy because there's like a galaxy map. And like when you first play this game and you have to get to the center of the galaxy for some reason. Like that's just part of like the plot. People spend weeks playing it every day, warping between like the range, like that they can go between the different systems. They spend weeks and weeks and weeks to try to get to the center.
Hmm.
That's how long, how big this game is. It's just incredible. So anyway, that's what I enjoy doing now, and blowing up robots and shit. Because that's the Sentinels are assholes in that game.
Remember when that game came out? Did you remember when it came out, Richard?
Yeah, I had heard prior to launch, like their promises, and then it came out and some weren't met, and but it's been impressive to see how they took the game itself and pulled back, like just built it out into a full game that people really like now from where its reputation started.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was pretty cool too.
copyright I think is 2016. I just saw it on the login screen there. 'Cause I was logged in before our chat, but I've heard it's come a long way. Like they did like because a lot of the systems have a space station built up by one of the three civilizations or three species. And before it was, I don't even know what it looked like before. Apparently it was shit. But then they just kind of like people were saying before that update the game wasn't really worth playing, but since the update where they did the space stations and a bunch of other stuff, like the game became worth playing. And like I'm telling you, like the attention to detail is pretty incredible. Like just it's kind of funny because I'm on one planet and I'm hit by like this firestorm that fucking disintegrates my shield, and then that passes, and the next thing you know, I'm hit by like this blizzard. And it's interesting
Hmm.
how it can show that based off of that planet's location from the different suns that they can be impacted by the different weather systems and how it changes like the closer to the sun the hotter the planet, you need thermal protection. Further away, it's colder usually. But
Yeah.
it's but like just I guess what I was trying to say, like with the water, they've done an update where the water moves, and I'm pretty sure I saw that the tide was changing based off of the gravitational pull of a moon that was around it. I was like, oh my God, really?
I
It's
didn't know
like
they actually did it that far. That's pretty crazy.
I was watching like the water start to go down as yeah, it looked like the tide was pulling out at one point. And then their idea of a gas giant. I always thought gas giants were just pure gas. So they did something. They brought out gas giants, which they didn't have before, which they should have. And basically, you hit a system that's a gas giant and like all its moons, and you try to get in through the atmosphere, and it's like obviously just turbulent, crazy like storm, hurricane. But then there is eventually a surface, like a hard surface, which I'm like, is that real? I don't know if there's supposed to be a surface. I always thought gas
Mhm.
giants were just pure gas.
Yeah, I don't know the definition.
Like gas giant doesn't have a pure definition, but it's like there's like a certain atmosphere of a gas where there's like not necessarily a solid ground, but a lot of them will have like mostly liquid cores, and then it becomes. Oh, Craig is gone.
Oh.
and it'll mostly have like some little spots
Oh.
of land.
Yeah, I actually have a backup recording. I have like a screen recording with OBS running. I'll drop
Nice.
Crag back in, but we won't miss anything, I guess.
Now recording.
It says it's a little now recording bit.
Recording.
Anyway, I think I'm gonna get going. I want to get a bit of work done before I head to sleep.
Yeah, we usually
but,
keep it to an hour, and so yeah, we'll basically wrap up now.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks for the chat, and sorry I was ranting a bit more than usual.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah.
Okay, I gotta hop off. I'll see you folks.
All right, take
Yeah.
care.
I'll see you later.
Bye.